China, Tzu Chi volunteers hold home visits to provide scholarship for the flood-affected students. In the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers have distributed daily supplies to residents of Ormoc Great Love Village. Selamat datang ke DaAi Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. Thank you for joining us. In China, Jiangxi province's Poyang County suffered massive flooding due to the overflow of the Yangtze River. As schools are about to reopen soon, Tzu Chi volunteers held surveys and provided scholarship aid for over 500 flood-affected students.
It's been about a month since massive flooding hit Jiangxi region in China, and Poyang County is still retaining water in many parts. September is back to school for the students, and Tzu Chi volunteers are worried about the disadvantaged students paying for their tuition. Thus, they began to check on each family.
My furniture was all waterlogged. When the flood came in, the furniture got caught in it and floated. It even damaged my door frame. It's all been destroyed.
The Shi family of Jiangxi suffered flooding of about 1 meter high, and nearly all the furniture has been waterlogged. Mr. Shi is also suffering from the loss of business and is very worried about how to pay for his son's upcoming tuition. Also suffering from the flooding is grandfather Zhu's family in Xiejiatan.
Everything from my house is gone. There's nothing in there.
After thoroughly conducting home visitations, the volunteers are now hosting a scholarship aid distribution for over 500 students who need a bit of financial help.
He will make good use of this money for his studies, and when he becomes successful, he will pass this help to the next generation.
There's a saying which translates to even a small favor should be doubled in action during times of difficulty. I hope students who receive this gift will return the favor and become useful members of society, just like Tzu Chi volunteers.
As there are more students at the Xiejiatan distribution, the venue selected was a half-outdoors place. Just as the ceremony was about to begin, it started to rain. The volunteers quickly moved the aid items to the shade before continuing with the blessed event.
So I tell him he must be a helpful member of society when he's older. He should have more strength to contribute to society.
The love and care of the volunteers help support the students' mental and physical health prior to the start of the new school year.
Huang Yixuan, who is in the 3rd grade of elementary school, won this year's Tzu Chi New Shoot Scholarship for Moral Character Award. Although she grew up in a single-parent family, she worked very hard at her studies and often takes up paper crafts for charity sales. Let's take a look at her story.
Various awards are placed on a table. Without going to cram school or buying reading reference books, how did 3rd grader Huang Yixuan do this?
If I don't know anything, I'll ask my mother when I come back. Then she'll teach me one by one, so it'll be easier for me to understand other similar questions.
While she is good at studying, she also has a loving heart. She's interested in folding paper and often sells her paper crafts for charity. This year, she won the Moral Character Award of Tzu Chi New Shoot Scholarships.
I took my paper crafts to a charity sale because I want to make a donation. I've received other people's assistance before, so I also want to help others.
She grew up in a single-parent family as her mother took on all the financial responsibility. At a young age, she felt pity for her mother.
When she got the award, she immediately said to me, "Mom, I give the scholarship to you."
I'm willing to give the scholarship to my mom because she needs to pay rent as well as water and electricity bills.
Being considerate and sensible, she has already started preparing for the next award.
This is the 2nd time for me to receive the New Shoot Scholarship Award. When I got the award, I often started thinking how to do better the next time.
Although children cannot choose their parents, they can choose their future. We also have to learn how to make ourselves better so that we can have the opportunity to give back.
谢谢慈济，让我可以很安心的读书。我以后也会回馈给
In August this year, Jiangxi Books and Cafe, located in Sheraton Grand Taipei Hotel, has reached its 15th anniversary and a celebration was held. Let's take a look at the highlights of the event.
At the year of 2005, the 10th Jiangxi Books and Cafe launched. During the opening, the hotel manager Cai Chenyang joined in to witness the moment.
Doing this especially, I felt very pleased and willing to do so, and we want to make it better.
Receiving tourists from all over the world, Sheraton Grand Taipei Hotel's corner store emits a special aura. The store, Jiangxi Books and Cafe, has been here for 15 years. Accompanied by harmonic strings, many participants enjoy quality tea while chatting with each other. Crossing 15 years, yet the initial goal remains the same. The place is also a second home for foreign exchange students.
As a foreign exchange student, Jiangxi Books and Cafe is actually a place where I meet a lot of people.
A country's citizens' quality, besides education and wealth, the most important aspect is humanitarian attainment. This is the Bodhisattva way. Especially to leveling our management or the image of our country. This is very important.
Reading Jiangxi aphorisms, the current chairman, Cai Bohan, continues his father's love and wisdom.
Before I read it, I thought the book was about religion, but after reading it, I found out that it gave me positive thinking. This is why after entering the room, a lot of kids would read it.
This space provides an area for truth interaction and the spreading of love. It not only has a good literature, but it also provides a pure land for our society.
The little space provides a safe harbor for tourists and guests passing by.
Tzu Chi started research and development on turning PET bottles into blankets in 2006. And in 2007, the first batch of finished products were sent to the Philippines for disaster relief. To this day, 1.17 million blankets have been sent to 43 countries and regions for disaster relief. Here's more.
The great blanket is used to make the bed. The resident, Obernia from Ormoc Great Love Village in the Philippines, treasures the blanket as she uses it every day.
5 years, 6 years na.
It was 2013 when Typhoon Haiyan struck, and now it's 2020. This blanket accompanied me when I moved to Great Love Village. It's been 5 or 6 years, and I still use it today because I'm very grateful to Tzu Chi. If I don't pay attention to this blanket, it's like I've ignored Tzu Chi's love and compassion.
For so many years, Obernia has kept the Tzu Chi blanket as a treasure. The Philippines is a matriarchal society, and when her eldest son got married, she specially used the blanket as a gift. Tzu Chi's emergency relief blankets have been sent to 43 countries and regions with 1.17 million blankets distributed, which is equal to 37,000 Taipei 101 buildings. It's also a useful tool in Taiwan's diplomacy, as the material from which the blanket is made is quite special, as it all comes from PET bottles. Recycled PET bottles are crushed into plastic pellets and then melted at a high temperature of 300 C into a liquid, and a machine pulls out a single fiber. The yarn in the picture is only 5 to 10 microns in diameter, about 1/10 that of a human hair. The gray tone comes from the yarn extracted from the PET bottle. It is not processed and dyed and maintains the original color. After pattern making, tailoring, and ironing, volunteers are responsible for the most complicated task, which is sewing the edge of the cloth. With this, the blanket is completed. At 1,548 grams, or about 60 PET bottles, one can make an environmentally friendly blanket.
We have this technology, and the recycling volunteers at the recycling stations are also able to separate and sort these PET bottles. They remove the bottle caps and bottle rings and recycle them very cleanly, so that we can make such an environmentally friendly blanket.
Thank you very much to our Tzu Chi volunteers who also play a very important role. We often see many Tzu Chi volunteers recycling these bottles and using them for social welfare purposes.
These eco-friendly blankets are the dazzling achievement of Taiwan's environmental protection technology. PET bottles of polymer made, petroleum refined, terephthalic acid, and ethylene glycol were used in large quantities by Taiwanese beverage companies in 1984. But there was no concept of recycling at the time. It would be incinerated or buried, but soon another way was found.
This is 1990 and 12 million US dollars. These are PET bottles.
These old photos show Yu Jingchen, Taiwan's first EPA minister, inspecting the first PET bottle recycling plant. To this day, the use of PET bottles has been increasing year by year, and the EPA says there are as many as 4.7 billion bottles used per year. Therefore, the plastic crisis still exists, and recycling creates future opportunities that will continue.
A folder like this is originally made of PP or PE. Our PET bottle caps are also made of exactly the same material, so of course we can recycle it and reuse it as a cover.
Today, the recycling rate of Taiwan's PET bottles is as high as 95%, has become the glory of Taiwan. The 2018 World Cup featured 16 national teams whose jerseys were made from recycled bottles from Taiwan. Thanks to science and technology, PET bottles have driven the circular economy, finding a new life from garbage that could last for 10,000 years, and also promoted a spiritual cycle of rebirth.
In addition to turning trash into gold and gold into love, there is a clear flow of aid around the world to the victims of disaster relief. It also shows that Taiwan's environmental technology can help environmental protection and allow the love of volunteers to become part of this gift that can help the rest of the world.
In the Philippines, the pandemic has impacted the lives of the impoverished families. Tzu Chi volunteers have distributed cooking oil, noodles, and other daily supplies to the residents of Ormoc Great Love Village, helping 1,385 families.
Although I donate a little money every month, I can recycle glass bottles and refill cooking supplies to help people in need. At least this way, I can help them and protect the environment.
Volunteers turn their thoughts for the environment into action. They remove the labels of recycled glass bottles, wash and sun-dry them. Filling the glass bottles with cooking oil, volunteers place hundreds of oil bottles neatly. They also weigh the cooking spices to ensure the amount is enough for every family's use.
I've come to help pack salt, cooking oil, and other supplies to be distributed to villages. We help other people in our own way. Currently, most people are unemployed, but as Chichens, we work together to deliver love to everyone.
During the epidemic, Tzu Chi is distributing aid supplies in Ormoc Great Love Village. On the previous day, volunteers reminded the villagers not to forget to get their gifts. After receiving the supplies, the villagers also passed the love forward.
I'm very grateful to Tzu Chi Foundation for helping us so much that daily supplies and rice can satisfy our daily needs.
I really appreciate Tzu Chi Foundation. In the past and present, as we face the pandemic, Tzu Chi has continued to help us. I want to thank Tzu Chi Foundation for helping us continuously.
Being able to eat hot food, the villagers have learned to be content and grateful despite their harsh life.
Thank you, Master Chingin, og sa Tzu Chi Foundation.
In the United States, New York Tzu Chi Volunteers Pandemic Assistance Plan is still underway. In addition to helping the Hispanic community, they have recently cooperated with Nepal Lions Club in Queens to help some low-income families in the area.
Since pandemic happened, our Tzu Chi charity and help a lot of people. This time we have a Lion Club to further connection with the Tzu Chi.
We are distributing food for the needy people, 150 people who are from the Nepal and who are suffering from this pandemic.
We can work together for this time's distribution. So welcome to our community. We're gonna start packing.
I came with my dad from New Jersey to New York for the Lions Club food distribution.
He always sees what I'm doing. He's watching, so he always wants to take part wherever I go.
We are 4 members in our family. Since everybody lost their job and I was also one of them, this food is going to help me a lot, and my family is going to help us.
Once the pandemic happened, they lost the job. They have no income. Of course, they need the food.
I'm not working now because of pandemic and COVID. This food is very important for us. And they did a nice job, very nice job.
That's very important. It's from our Master Zheng Ye. We also have the children mat for your families. Today, we have a full resource come from different, either the government, either from food bank, and also we have the private, the company.
Food is helping by this Tzu Chi organization. All the food which we use, we Nepali community use, like fresh vegetables, like rice.
I lost job 5 months ago, no money for food. I'm here to pick up some food, so this community helping us, we are happy.
If you still need more food to provide, so we can more often, we'll have often to come to their community to help them.
There are some people during this coronavirus, they're infected. Those people can't go out to get groceries, so we're giving them groceries.
I think he's growing the passion to be a volunteer, to work to help the people who need. Thank you so much.
I feel great. I feel like I'm, spreading love and joy to the world. And that's why I came here with my dad to help him.
In the 7th lunar month, Tzu Chi volunteers hold blessing ceremonies for the auspicious month in various places. In Xinzhuang, New Taipei City, volunteers have invited performing artist Lin Naihua to promote vegetarianism at a sports park in the morning. Let's join them there.
Under the bright sunlight, people keep coming to Xinzhuang Sports Park to exercise. At the park's corner, Tzu Chi volunteers invite residents to attend a blessing ceremony for the auspicious month.
To promote blessing ceremony for the auspicious month, we must go amongst the public and invite people. Every place can be a cultivation ground. Due to the pandemic, we are promoting vegetarianism this year.
The event hostess is Tzu Chi volunteer Lin Naihua. In the past, she makes a living in the entertainment industry. After joining Tzu Chi, she has led a simple life. She's encouraging people to embrace vegetarianism with her own experience.
I used to eat a lot of meat. I could not have a meal without fish or meat. To adopt a vegetarian diet, you must learn to cook. You cannot just eat fermented tofu and preserved vegetables. Tzu Chi volunteers are very mindful. Being mindful makes them professional. They will teach you how to cook vegetarian dishes.
The volunteer sharing has inspired the residents to try to change their eating habits.
Adopting a vegetarian diet is really good for our health and the earth. In the past, I did not take actions after listening to such sharing. But today, I think I should take a step further and take action.
I think adopting vegetarian diets is very good, as it can protect the environment. I will try to embrace vegetarianism.
There is more information and common knowledge. So we have learned that we don't need to obtain protein from animal products. We can seek protein from vegetables. We can be just as healthy. Why not do this?
The 50-minute blessing event was attended by 150 residents. They harbor kind thoughts and pray sincerely that the pandemic will be over soon.
Normally, it's a common belief that during the 7th lunar month, burning joss paper is required in order to pray for safety. Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers have set up a vegetarian meal team, mobilizing the locals to go meatless and stop burning joss paper, passing the auspicious month with the ideals of eco-friendliness.
Several volunteers sat around a table, cutting vegetables with great knife handling technique. This is for meal prep.
We want to mobilize more people to go meatless during this auspicious month. For those who want to adopt a vegetarian diet, even if they can't go for the whole month, they can still do 15 days or a week. Of course, it is better to do for 1 month to accumulate more merits.
I hope that everyone can go vegetarian because it is good for our body, just like what Master Zheng Yan usually says, or else animals will be killed and they feel pain too.
Sekarang Tzu Chi volunteers teamed up to form a vegetarian meal crew, encouraging locals to order vegetarian meals from them. The main chef, Lee Moigyo, has many years of catering experience, which gave further points to a vegetarian meal's quality, and the meal is also healthy.
Going vegetarian makes me happy. If I want to bring everyone to go meatless, I must use best ingredients, and this is how everyone would eat healthy.
Cikarang Chi volunteers wanted to bring more people into volunteering and going vegetarian. But because we do not have many volunteers here, we want to inspire more people to come. Apart from selling vegetarian meals, we also raise funds at the same time.
Breaking the traditional norm of burning joss paper during the 7th lunar month, volunteers promote stopping animal slaughter, going vegetarian, and blessing others, as we can also make contributions to our society.
In Indonesia, a Tzu Chi volunteer in training has opened a vegetarian restaurant in Jakarta, hoping to encourage more people to embrace vegetarianism. During the 7th lunar month, the restaurant also provides vegetarian lunchboxes.
In Jakarta, vegetarian restaurants are not very common. McDonald's has opened this restaurant not only to make a living, but also to encourage more people to adopt a vegetarian diet.
The goal of operating this vegetarian restaurant is to encourage more people to embrace vegetarianism. In this area, there are not many vegetarian restaurants. So it is a good opportunity to promote vegetarianism.
To satisfy the customers, the restaurant provides all kinds of food, including Indonesian dishes and Western cuisine.
The vegetarian food is very delicious. The place provides all kinds of dishes, including our favorite soto mutton.
If prepared correctly, vegetarian food is just as good as meat dishes because they use the same spices.
During the 7th lunar month to promote vegetarianism, the restaurant also provides lunch boxes.
In the US, Tzu Chi volunteers send epidemic prevention supplies to the St. Gabriel Police Department while also promoting vegetarianism towards the officers. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.